It's all hackamores and hondos, hula hands and latigos, half-breeds, oxbows, eagle bakes and monkey nose, foot rock, fetlocks, cockleburs and bad hawks. What's with all this wacky talk, cowboy vernacular? You got your broom-tail caballos, ring bones, Roman nose, bullet cheeks and war bags, trichomoniasis, ear-tags, bangs, facts, bad wrecks, baldies, and rednecks. What's with all this wacky talk, cowboy vernacular? It's a Western convolution of proper elocution, an atrocious aberration of a common conversation. Better learn the lingo before you hit the rodeo. Rule number one now, it's thumbs up on the dally hand. Don't need no four-finger tally, man. You got your speed on top, cow on bottom. Oh, slipped a leg, I should've shot him. It's lap and tap, rap and slap and knot and go. Holy crap, what's with all this wacky talk, cowboy vernacular? Hip lock, leg back, just pull it with the gunny sack. Ah, bum cap on a hind tip, oh, that's a load of horse. Shake you, let her fly, miss your dally, wave goodbye. What's with all this wacky talk, cowboy vernacular? Shake you loop, let her fly, miss your dally, wave goodbye. What's with all this wacky talk, cowboy vernacular?
All right, there we go. Good evening. Welcome to our little show. This is 3 Questions with Ricky Quinn. I'm John Stewart, and I'm proud to spend another hour with my friend, horseman, rancher, clinician, Ricky Quinn. So, Ricky, let me add you to the conversation here so I can see you. Oh, there's Sarah Quinn with you. How are you guys? Merry Christmas. You're sitting in front of the fireplace. It looks great. Got your stockings up.
Yep. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. I'm really going to enjoy this now that I know Sarah's sitting next to you, Ricky. If you can just kind of move the camera to where you're kind of out of picture, it'd be great. But, hey, I think tonight's show is going to be great. It's going to be a blast because in a few minutes we're going to be joined by some really special people, some friends of ours, Gabe and Reata Clark. And for those people who are joining us for the first time, if you're new to our little series, this is actually our 14th episode. We started doing these shows back in September, really just as an excuse to avoid all the political commercials and bad TV. And I asked Ricky if he would sit down with me for an hour a week and talk. And those first 3 shows, Ricky, it was just you and I really enjoyed our conversations. And we talked about why someone should go to a clinic and about your clinic experience, buying horses. We talked about kids, getting your kids started on horses. We talked about a lot about finding balance in your life, and probably the best, one of the most special moments was you just sharing about your commitment to be sober, and we've had a pretty good ride. So, you ready for a good night?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Well, so the first 3 shows, like I mentioned, it was just us, and then we started having a lot of different guests, and we've taken our friends on quite a journey. If you think about, we went to Oklahoma to the KBRC Cattle Company. We went to their fall branding, and we talked to some of the professional cowboys. We journeyed up to North Dakota, talked to the Fralics about their breeding operation, Lance and Sunshine. We've spent some great time with people who love to start horses and teach other people about horsemanship, thinking about Nick Donahue and Alicia Landman. And we spent time with Tommy Kilgore talking about feet. We spent time with Sarah talking about nutrition and just overall barn management. And, I'm excited that tonight we get to go to one of the most iconic ranches in Wyoming and in the Montana Territory, just north of Sheridan, Wyoming, the OW Ranch. So if you missed one of these shows, they're all available on YouTube and Facebook. And Ricky, I really enjoyed last week's show with your steerhead crew. Did you get some pretty good feedback from them? They seemed a little nervous going in, but we had a great time talking.
I think they really enjoyed it, actually. To be able to, it is a little bit different being in front of a camera. I always get a little bit nervous, no matter every week, just a little bit nervous. Gabe here in a little bit, he's pretty comfortable with it, so it shouldn't affect him too much. But I mean, as far as the people from the Lazy U, I think it even kind of helped gain a little more confidence. It's nice to know that what we're trying to do at that horse program, trying to get it to be known, to the public that we're there, and that the people that work there are getting up in the morning and trying to do right by the horse in the best they possibly can. And for them to express that, a little bit and talk about their journey, I think it was, in a way, kind of uplifting for them, I hope, to be able to do that.
Well,
yeah.
I tell you, they're just incredible young people that you're working with there, and I just get there's such a great energy from all of them, and just because they're all looking for to make their way in life, and just they bring just a level of enthusiasm and professionalism, and I just enjoyed my time. So, thanks for letting me come out. I'm glad that when I left, I didn't get you fired. I was a little nervous that maybe I would have said something that Kirk and Andy would have said. Hey, Rick, it's been nice having you around. So that's good. All right, so. I think that tonight, you're going to enjoy the conversation because we talked about this a little last week. While 2020 has just been amazingly challenging with businesses closing, with the global pandemic, and just all the effects that go along with that. Our guest, and I'm not even mentioning the election, but our guest, this has been a huge year for them, and a huge adventure, and something I think that everybody who's going to join us and watch, all of our viewers, I think you'll enjoy hearing about it. Feel free to make comments, share the video, and we'll have fun tonight. So let me bring on. Let's welcome Reata and Gabe Clark. Add them right here. There you are, Sarah, Ricky. Can you guys see Reata and Gabe?
Yep.
Reata and Gabe, are you guys good? Can you hear us? Okay, good. Well, so let's talk. You guys took on a big challenge this year by moving to the OW. You got married. You've continued with your own horse business and where you sell horses and your stud business. We got a lot to cover tonight. And for those that are watching that don't know anything about the OW Ranch, it's about an hour north of Sheridan. And feel free to correct me here. I'm going to give my little spiel, but the OW is about an hour northeast of Sheridan. It is the original headquarters of the Kendrick Cattle Company. Perhaps the most famous of the cattle empires of the Wyoming and Montana Territory. The man that founded that was the first senator from Wyoming and the first governor from Wyoming. And this is just a historic ranch. It operates on over 50,000 acres, which they're contiguous acres. The ranch stretches, one of the things I was amazed by, it stretches over 3 Montana counties and is just simply one of the best, most iconic Western ranches. And also the ranch is owned by an awesome guy. You guys work with Jim Guercio, who bought it, and he's invested in bringing just new life to the OW. I know when I went up there and toured around, and we'll show some photos here in a little bit, I was amazed because as he was just driving me around, he said, we got about 70 stock tanks and about 40 different pastures. And talked a lot about how he's put, solar on most of the wells out there and just, maintaining solar. So I got a picture of that I want to show people here in a bit. But, Jim seems like a really awesome guy who invested in the buildings and brought them back to kind of their grandeur of what they would have been when Kendrick raised his family there. And then, he's been buying land to kind of make the ranch what it used to be. And then people who know who Jim is, he spent his life in the music business and the rock and roll business. And and we spent a lot of time talking about just putting a band together. And when he decided to put a band together to run the OW Ranch, that starts with you two guys. So talk about why you even took this challenge on.
Well, where do we begin?
It was kind of a big bite to take off right at first, but the opportunity just kind of fell in our laps, and it was kind of too much to pass up. You know, the big thing that we always talk about is it's great to have a job for your horses, because you can ride an arena every day, and after a while, you're just missing a piece, and that's something we're definitely missing. And we spend every day horseback almost out here, and we don't have an arena to ride, not at all. So you kind of have to figure out how to manage things and how to figure out how to do it outside while you're getting a job done. And that's something that is kind of sets our horses aside from a lot, like how they were before, is just, it's hard to have both of those conveniences. And so now we're just happy to have a job for our horses.
Well, talk about, because the people who've been watching us, I mean, we spent the last 2 weeks at the Lazy U, and Olson Farms, looking at, how they're starting all the horses and their breeding program, and really getting to know for the young people that work with them. You guys have done, when you moved on to the OW, you brought a young crew with you as well. Who all's working with you, and kind of, talk about what that's like.
Well, we got a couple different. Well, we got a bunch of different people, but a lot of green type people. As far as they're really good help, and they're real trustworthy. That was the main goal, and then, and they got a lot of try. Everything, we got Wes for Ozzy and Brianna for Ozzy, and they're great help, and they just kind of know what to do, and it's easy to just turn them loose. But as far as it's fun to help people, I think, and teach them. Well, you got to position yourself on that cow like this, and this cow's different, and whole different deal. And Mike Winsman is one of them, a great friend of mine that I've known for quite a few years now, and he really good. And it's fun to see change in everybody, and we talk about it a lot. As far as you might take an ass chewing, excuse my language, but all of a sudden it's fun to be in our point of view and say, hey, we see it, we see the change, and see them where they can do, or what they can do, and how they approach things, and compete, and a whole different ball game for them. And it's fun for us to definitely help them along.
Yeah, we've had Lily Mayhook has been here. She's helped us for a few years. She's helped us when we lived in California on that place there. She came and helped us get a bunch of sale horses ready, and then she helped us last Sheridan, and then she came out here, and she's kind of stick around. So it was great. It's good having somebody that is familiar with kind of the standards that we uphold our horses to and whatnot, to kind of, she never sacrifices her horsemanship for anything, and that's super admirable, especially when you're in the situation a lot of times out here where you have to do the job, get the job done. And it's been great to see her grow, especially from her being in the colt class at MSU to out here, processing heifers with us this evening. And she's, doing what she has to do to get the job done, and maintaining her horsemanship, but still getting the job done. And that sense of urgency has been developed, that a lot of times that was the big thing that I struggled with at MSU. A lot of times teaching all those kids was that sense of urgency just wasn't there, because there wasn't a job in front of them to do, and here there is. So it's a lot easier to teach that now.
Well, you mentioned MSU, and not everybody that follows Ricky's page knows about your, when you went to Montana State University, they had an opening in the colt starting program, and I think you're the only college student that I've ever known of that actually got a job teaching in the university while they're going to school as well. But you did that for a number of years, and I know you had Isaac and Noah and different folks around there working with you, and I purchased 2 of those horses. I wanted to purchase a third one, but we already talked to Andy Dent, that SOB spent more money on a horse. But anyway, hopefully he's not watching. But what you did there was really incredible. I mean, just working with, and there were so many young people that went to MSU because of the opportunity to work with you in the class. So to hear that Lily is now working on a ranch, I mean, that's just incredible. And leaving MSU, I know you took a degree in marketing, but probably the greatest thing you walked away with was investment in a lot of people's lives. And so it's really cool to see how that's playing out. Cool. Well, let me show some photos real quick. I hope this doesn't embarrass you guys, but I have to show, because I told Ricky last week that one of the highlights of my year was going out to your wedding. That was probably one of the most beautiful, absolutely beautiful weddings that I've ever been around. No, it was, and I'm going to show some pictures here real quick. Obviously, I mean, this whole thing, the flowers, and I know you guys had an outdoor wedding. You did it there at the Houlihan Ranch. There's this incredible spot where you got married under that tree. I don't know if you know this, but Barb Shipley's husband really pulled a good one on me. Did you know about this?
I think you mentioned it to me. I don't know.
Yeah, we're sitting there watching, looking at this tree, and he goes, "You know what's amazing about that tree is Buck planted that when Reata was a baby, and every year he'd just kind of stretch that tree, knowing that someday she'd get married under that tree." And I'm like, "That's the coolest story," And I'm like, I'm totally bought in, and he's just pulling it off. But your guests, it was just an incredible outdoor wedding. Here's all your guests getting ready for you guys. You didn't see this because you were coming up the aisle at that point, and just this smiling, and Reata, you look beautiful. Your whole wedding party. I tell you, you look pretty good there, Gabe. I love this photo of you guys starting off your life together, and then what I love even better is here you are going off, and then here's the whole crowd of kids coming behind you. So you definitely bit off a big adventure here as you went forward, and if anybody is going to have horses at their wedding, you figured out how to do it too. Because I thought that was the coolest thing, is having the reception and just absolutely beautiful cake. My wife was a wedding coordinator, so I'm probably a little more into weddings than a guy should be. But y'all had just an absolutely beautiful wedding.
We had a good crew that.
Oh, that's great. And there's all your buddies and friends and just an incredible time. So and then. Your honeymoon was really just getting back to work at the OW, wasn't it?
Yeah, we branded the next week, all week.
I have a photo of you branding with your perfect manicured nails with blood all over them and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think you lost one. But let me show, just because one of the comments that Ricky has been getting is that people really like seeing some of these photos and video. When I say it's big country up there in 50,000 acres, it really is. I mean, as you drive out there, it's big country. It's beautiful country. This is actually kind of an aerial shot. I wish I could take credit for this. This is one that was online of just the complex. And when I pulled up, I remember Barb Shipley saying, "Welcome to Shangri-La, and don't tell anybody about it," because it's just such a jewel. But this is the house, correct, over on the right where the Kendricks would have built and raised their family, and then the barn's down here on the left.
Yep.
Here we go. The barn is absolutely something that, and for people who aren't following you on Instagram or social media, you've posted some incredible photos of the OW Ranch, and I mean, those of us that just love history. Here's Jim Guercio. You got to love an owner that's involved. We were talking last week at the Lazy U about Kirk and Andy coming around checking everything out, but I show up and Jim's like, "Get in the truck. We're going to go check on a well and work on solar." And so here he is and his son out there, working on a solar unit and one of the tanks. And then this feed house. Tell me about that feed house, because I was told that cowboys have been eating in there since before the turn of the century.
Yeah, when was it built? I think originally the bunkhouse and the cookhouse and everything was there before John Kendrick established the ranch, because the OW the OW stands for Old Woman, and so originally it was on Old Woman Creek down by Lusk.
What does your dad say about the hanging woman, old woman?
Yeah,
all the way down.
Yeah, so it went
stuck around a long way.
Yeah, to get all the way, because now the OW is on Hanging Woman Creek, and so the Old Woman Ranch on Hanging Woman Creek. In order to get there, you have to go through Crazy Woman Creek. So by the time they got to Hanging Woman Creek, Dad always is, "I'm so surprised that she made it all the way."
That's awesome.
She had a strong woman.
They had to really not like her. But there's a lot of cool location, and the bunkhouse. I think the bunkhouse was built in 1875, and it has had someone in it since 1875 consistently. and
That's
it still
incredible.
still has a sod roof on it. So
Cool.
kind of cool.
Well, I just want to show some of these photos of you guys out there, and I tell you, it's gorgeous territory, and it's just so neat to see the energy. And talk about your relationship with Jim. I mean, what's it like working with that kind of an owner? I mean, he's owned ranches before, and the Caribou Ranch in Colorado and stuff. But I mean, talk about your relationship with your owners.
Well, Jim Gercio, he's about as good a boss as you could ever come by. I think Jim gives us the reins and all positive. He wants to see he wants to see the big picture, and it's fun to you make mistakes, and Jim is right there with you and being, oh yeah, that's great. Let's keep going, and he's as smooth a boss as a guy could work for. He's a good guy, and he's fun to work around. He's fun to have here. He's got a Raptor, a Ford Raptor, and I like loading it full of salt, and we go scatter salt, or
And a Hummer.
And a Hummer. And I mean, I've never got to do that, so we go pretty fast when we scatter salt.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
He loves to be involved in any way he can, which is kind of cool. Whether it's if we need him to run back to the house and go get something for us, or go put salt out, or go do any of those things, he's just like so happy to help. He just jumps in if he can. I mean, he branded every single calf on this place this year, and he's 76
awesome.
years old. So that's a lot, and he was right there with us.
Yeah, and you take his background and put him in that position, and I mean, it's hard for it's a whole different caliber of guys, in that level, but to have him jump in there and do that, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, we can talk about the transition from Lily Mayhook, the college student, to working on a ranch. The transformation of Jim going from Southside Chicago and managing groups like the Beach Boys in Chicago and all those things to him branding every cow on the property. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
We have a pretty good time.
Yeah. No, he's awesome.
He's a great boss, and he understands that we're going to fail, and we think we know everything when it comes to a cow, and believe it or not, he knows a lot about a cow. He's really right there with us, so it's pretty cool.
So Ricky and Sarah, I mean, this is 3 questions with Ricky Quinn. So do you guys want to ask Gabe and Reata any questions?
We have 2.
All right.
Uh-oh.
You first.
My question is probably, I'll go for Gabe. I have only heard very wonderful things about you. I don't know you yet, unfortunately. And I've heard people say, like, Gabe's the kind of guy you just want to please him. You want to make him happy. And I would like to know, and your kids I've heard are a lot the same way. I've just heard really positive things. We know in the cliquey world there's a good chance to hear negative things, but I haven't heard any of them. I would like to know kind of your motto on life and how you stay that guy.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. What's that?
Or maybe Reata needs the answer.
Yeah. If you don't know, Reata will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I mean, I see I'm a little bit fast as far as we got to get things boom, 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 and it's hard for people to keep up. But once they get it, it's fun to see that and understand where I'm coming from. It's kind of hard to, you can kind of be mean here and here and here. It's not really mean, but it's just it's hard for people to understand. But I've been put in a lot of tough situations as far as they expect you to do great things. And so high pressure, we can handle it. So I want my, the guys that work for us and everybody to kind of get in line with that and handle that pressure, and I'll take it away and put it there and take it away, and I'll fail, like little things, and then, that's a great test for me. So it's just about building. I think Ricky and I talk about wrestling all the time, and it kind of set a foundation in there, and we understand that, it's hard work, and then there's things that you just kind of got to work through and make it happen, for sure. That's how I see it, and that's what I expect from everybody. And I've got a lot of big time influence, from my dad and my mom, and they expected a lot of good things, and siblings. We're all real competitive on how we can do it. My sister's Sky Clark, so she takes a lot of pictures, and it's fun to see what, we grew up coming from just a working family like a lot of people in the United States. So I think I can relate to a lot of people in that.
I have something to add to that too. So we've had this we have this thing that we've said since like right when Gabe and I first started dating. It was because we're both pretty similar in the sense that we're like always trying to be really efficient and like really like
bam, we got a lot of Irish blood.
Bam, 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 bam. Like try to get everything done and like try to get it done efficiently and in order. And we might not necessarily yell at somebody, but we're like very firm in how we say it. And it's not a personal thing. It's just we want it done when we say we want it done. And so, and the kids all understand that. They don't care. But it's funny how people that work for you will take it personally sometimes. And it's like, no, I still really like you. You just have to do it right now.
Yeah, it just comes down to the job.
So we
like everybody.
We have a sign in our house that says, don't go back to your medicine bag. Because, and Gabe and I, we doctored a lot of cattle outside together and stuff. And so we always try to be super efficient. And so, it's a pain, especially if you're on a colt or something and you got to tie off when you go to doctor your calf and you work the ground, and then you have to get up again and go back to your medicine bag on your, on your saddle, and then go back to your cow again, and then go back to your medicine bag, and then go back to your cow.
It all come from, you might need chalk, you might need LA, you might need Drax and Banamine, whatever. But the trips back and forth and that kind of, it
affects your horse, it affects you,
everything.
It affects your time, it affects your cow.
How can we be more proficient?
So, like, that's just it's something that we always say, like, don't go back to your medicine bag. And it relates to everything we do because, it's just try to get everything done in the most efficient way possible, because then it affects everyone else if you don't. And that's kind of something, we have a big sign hanging in our laundry room. And the kids even say it to me sometimes. Like, I'll make multiple trips and they're, don't go back to your medicine bag, Reata. And it's like, oh, gosh, dang it. You're right. I am doing that. But it's something that we use a lot. And everybody on this place knows it too. Like, when we say that, they understand exactly what we're talking about. So it's kind of nice to have that.
My medicine bag when I'm doctoring is a fanny pack.
Hey, you're a smart man.
Good idea, huh? Yeah, you like it?
Take it with you. You bet.
I guess I should make you a sign, Ricky. Don't go back to your fanny pack.
Yeah.
All right, so Ricky, it's your turn. Ask a question to Gabe and Reata.
All right, I think Reata's probably heard this question. I'm sure she has, but I think there's a lot of people that would like to know, because most people who are going to watch this know who her dad is and know that's a pretty big last name, especially in the horsemanship world. And then she ends up marrying Gabe, who's kind of a mountain man type cowboy wrestler guy, right? And I love it. I absolutely love it. I can see why she fell in love with him. But coming from how you grew up, Reata, right, with your dad being on the road and with your mom and everything else, and then now being at the OW with Gabe day to day, you guys have your own family and your own life now. I mean, you're a Brannaman, but you're not a Brannaman, right? I mean, it's how it goes. You always will be, but you're not. Can you talk a little bit about that transition and what that kind of was like, in a way, giving up your name to be a Clark and then moving forward with that, especially with the father that you have?
Yeah, it's crazy, like how when you still have the last name that you originally had, like, it's kind of a weird thing to think of having a different last name. Like, I don't know, it's a different thing. And like my sisters, neither of them changed their last name, and I changed my last name. And Gabe and I, one of our like very first arguments was about that, actually, which was funny. And it wasn't even an argument, it was just like a misunderstanding about it, because I said, no matter what my last name is, I'll always be a Brannaman, no matter what. Like, that has no change. And he took it the wrong way.
No,
a little bit, but it was I did.
Yeah, keep going. This is what we want. This is what we want. True marriage spat. Right now. Do it. Go get them.
No.
No, but I did change my last name, and it kind of was one of those things where I just did it, and everyone already knows us as Gabe and Reata, so it really wasn't that big of a transition. I think that once we were together, everyone they kind of started to just recognize us as Gabe and Reata, and it wasn't so much as Reata Brannaman anymore. It was Gabe and Reata, and that's it. Really, I haven't really found it to be that different as far as the only thing that's different is that like Dad's still like if he writes a check or something like the other day he wrote a check to me and he wrote it to Reata Brannaman and I had to endorse it different and then the bank wouldn't take it and all this stuff and I was like, Dad, come on, and he was like, I'm sorry, it's hard, and I was like, I know, but it's there's always stuff like that that'll come up, I think, but and it's funny how people always want to they want to hyphenate it because like the recognized aspect as far as in my brain I'm like, well, I am who I am, so it doesn't matter if they don't recognize me, whatever, that's their problem, that's because they obviously didn't know me good enough, but on a personal level, and I think that as a Clark, it's just who I am now, and it's the same as who I was before. It's just spelled different. I don't think it's really been a different, too much of a transition in my brain, at least.
I remember when you were younger and we had a talk about that. And you're like, I'm not changing my name, and at the time I was like, oh, that's gonna change. It'll probably change, and I had to go through a big morph to kind of soften to that too. And I think it comes down to once you meet the man that it's worth changing your name for, because your name is your identity. There's part of that I went from a pretty cool last name to just a name too. But there's a part of finding the guy that's worth it. I think is a big part of it too, where you're like, yeah, of course I will, because that's us. Whereas before you know that feeling, it's a different thing. So I thought it was the coolest to know or to watch the change, go from Buck's daughter to Reata Clark. That's a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's not. That's the whole point. But it's not because you're still just you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
That's awesome.
my point of view on it, I understand where Reata's coming from. But Bucks to me is he's got everything perfect. So he's a great idol. He's a great everything. And why would you change anything that way? But yeah, at the same time.
But then there's you, Gabe. That's another level of perfect.
Yeah, well, no, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Can't hear you, John.
Sorry, I muted myself. I was just sitting back enjoying listening to the conversation, but I think one of the funniest lines of the wedding too was when your dad stood up there and said, "Well, we're in it now," and looked at your parents, Gabe, and it's like you're all in it now, and it's so cool to see what you guys are doing. Ricky and Sarah, you're raising your 3 boys and doing a great job, and I tell you, being around Gabe and Reata and seeing how those kids behave and react, and they're incredible kids. So all around.
Yeah, and John Reata, she does the best thing for our kids. She's right there to be a mother and discipline and love them and the whole 9 yards. And we always talk about that as far as, people might look at this weird, but we always talk about, well, that's like a dog and like a kid and like a horse. It's all the same thing, really. It's you treat them all fair and you expect great things from them, and that's what Reata does for them. Every step of the way, it's great.
Well, that's awesome.
Jack heel down.
Yeah, no. He has a little blue healer in him.
Yeah, he's got a blue healer mixed with Clark.
He's got his own. He's like Gabe.
Well, no. Then once I met your mom, it all made sense, Gabe. She is just. Yeah. I was telling Suzanne tonight I was excited because I love both of your moms. But I tell you, Patty is just. I see where you get your grit and your just passion for life. So, hey, let me show some videos here, Brandon. Go ahead. What'd you say?
You should have seen our Thanksgiving with both of the entire families together here.
feeding
There was a
everybody
lot-
up.
There was a lot of guaranteeing.
There was a
going on.
lot of Indian leg wrestling and all sorts of
Oh yeah.
The Brandemans, there was only a few Brandemans here, but we came out on top.
I beat you a couple
Oh,
leg wrestling.
really?
Wrestling.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wasn't-
Dad beat everybody.
Yeah, he's a champ.
That's because he can't feel his leg, you guys. He can't feel his leg.
Well, hopefully you turned off Fox News and everybody got along. So,
Yeah.
let me show some video here real quick. I've got some videos of the branding. And I know it was warmer temperature, but we'll kind of talk about. I better turn that down because there's.
Right.
Push the button, Riata. Push the button. You got it. You're close.
What? Oh, I was like, what button? What?
But getting going. I mean, watching Riata. This is the video. All the kids. I mean, everybody's showing up. This is a big operation for you guys. And Ricky, this is like early in the morning. By the way, when they said we're eating at 4:30, getting out by 5, they weren't kidding.
Oh yeah.
There I am in a runaway.
Yeah.
Lucky shot.
So what's that like, Riata, to be roping with Gabe there? Is that just natural now?
Yeah, we've done it a lot together, so we yell at each other a lot, but it's fine.
It's fine.
We
It's
just kind of
fine.
are used to it. So.
Hey, we accidentally went to Thermopolis and we won roping over there
Yeah.
together the other day, and
It's
There's a
usually
lot of
not
yelling
each
going on.
other that's getting yelled at though. It's usually whoever's teamed up with us.
poor people.
Nice.
Now that was fun having you, John, out there.
Well, I sure enjoyed being there. I've successfully learned how to go to our branding and do as little work as possible. So it's kind of fun.
Wait, that was the thing that John ate a
Yeah, where's
Rocky Mountain oyster.
Yeah, where's the Rocky Mountain oyster? John?
You know, I edited those videos out.
Gabe, did you just cut in line right there?
Yeah, did you not see this?
That looks like you cut.
This is
Yeah, I cut a lot of people off.
yeah. This is a great video. Hold on, I just got to rewind this.
I know.
No, it's like
Look at
Ricky,
that.
I probably
he
cut
literally
a lot
just
off.
dropped the rope and then boom.
Yeah. Here. Somebody's over there flipping him off right now. I swear it.
Yeah, you just gotta do that. You gotta cream them.
Someone's gonna watch this and be like, "Is that really what you do?"
No, it's not really what you do.
It's funny.
It's not funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was trying to get videos of you guys actually roping together because,
If your dad misses, dad gonna miss?
well,
He's gonna miss, isn't he?
no, I got a.
Hey, me and Buck, we had a lot of good rolls together. We cut a lot together. And
I didn't get
John
permission.
didn't
I didn't get
sit
permission for his video rights, so his lawyer called me today, made sure he wasn't on the show.
down. You didn't catch any of those catches on the camera. But we caught them.
There's a good one.
Yeah, look at that.
See, Gabe, that's how you catch 2 feet, Gabe.
Yeah, velvet handle too on the top.
Well, I tell you, I could watch these videos all day, and I did cut all the other ones out of the other guys. I just wanted to get you guys.
Yeah. We appreciate you coming.
Well, I appreciate coming. This is one I think you might like, Ricky.
I'm sure she just missed, I think.
Probably.
What horse is this, Riata, you're riding?
That's Spud. I only rode him like 3 times this entire summer, and I just loaned him out to people. They come rope. So I'm surprised you even got me riding him because I don't think I rode him hardly at all when we branded. But he's my good horse that I use him for everything, which is why he gets neglected
nice
now.
shot.
There's so many other horses.
Well, and I'll show you the best horses. The best horses that I saw while I was there. Here you are doing some of that disciplining we talked about.
He needs
Poor Jack.
Jack. He needs a little training every once in a while. He
Yeah,
needs to come
but
in.
yeah, This is the
But Wes
culinary
does
crew.
too. It's Wes.
Yeah, that's the Clark culinary crew getting ready with all of them. You see them. So tasty. Thank you. Now here are the best
Hot
horses.
potato.
Jack eats more Rocky Mountain oysters than just about anybody.
Yeah.
So talk about. I mean, these kids can ride. I mean, these horses that the kids are on are probably some of the best horses you got out there, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they all are worth their weight in gold. They've got Hattie's little roan pony, her little red roan pony there. That pony's only a 2-year-old when these videos were taken, and Hattie started him on her own, and she's done a great job with him. Just a little Welsh pony. And then Paisley's pony, Rango, we actually got him because he was bucking kids off, and I rode him for like 30 days, and then Paisley just took off with him, and she's never slowed down once she started on him, and he will go to the ends of the earth for her. She's the only one that can walk out and go catch him. He will just do anything. He's not herd bound at all. He's completely worth his weight in gold. Dunny, the horse Jack rides, he's Gabe's old bridle horse, and he's amazing. He's only, how old is he? Like 13? He's like 13 probably, so he's not even really that old. But he is just babysitter deluxe. Jack just takes him all over the place by himself. Goes looks for horns, just kind of does his own thing. He's a great babysitter.
No, that's what I was amazed by, because you said like during the branding, you said here you guys go out and they were looking for horns, and I mean those kids. There aren't a lot of parents in America that have the opportunity to send their kids out and here go ride for miles, and come back in a few hours, and I'm telling you, they probably know more of that ranch than you guys do, just because they ride everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's the cool part about it. Send them out on a 3-year-old Paisley's horse that was bucking kids off, to Dunny that he bucked around a little bit when he was a little younger too. So I mean, you line them out and you got true kid horses that way. It's fun. It's fun to see. Well, I don't know. We're kind of taking a chance there, but when they get back and they're happy and everybody's smiling, they got an armful of horns. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And their horses love them for it too. They're like, let's go do it again. That's kind of fun to see.
Yeah. So Hattie rides my old horse Ray. That is he's the original Freilich horse. That he was the first one that anybody had from them in that had been going to the clinics or anything like that. And I got him as a weanling, and Ricky was there when I got him. Actually, remember how bad he was when we got him, Ricky? He was.
Yep, I do.
Oh, he was bad. He did not look good, but he grew up into this big, beautiful horse, and we were talking about it last night actually at dinner, how I didn't take that horse as far as I possibly could have, as far as like education wise, just because he's just not really super talented. As far as he's gentle and he's great at what he's great at, but he's not super talented, and he's not.
You mean as far as like a cutting
like
horse,
super
metallic
skilled.
cat
Yeah,
or something
he doesn't
like
have
that,
a ton of. He's not a performance horse by any means. He is good at what he's good at, and that is it.
It sounds like me. Not really talented, but all right.
He's hard to teach any sort of refinement to, really. It's a kind of an uphill battle, but as soon as I let the kids start riding him, I have not ridden him in probably 2 years, and Hattie has been the only one that has ridden him, and she has roped on him, she's branded on him, she does everything on that horse. She runs barrels, does goat tying, all this stuff, and he is just like shining. And we were talking about it last night, and I was like, it makes sense to me now, looking back, that's the reason why I didn't take him very far, is because that's not what he was meant to do. He was meant to be a kid horse, and that is what he's good at, and he knows it, and he loves it. And Hattie rides him more than she rides anything, and it's cool to see her confidence build on a horse like that. And that's his true job. He doesn't need to have the refinement, mostly just because he is great the way he is. And most horses, they're few and far between that are that way. So we're lucky to have him.
Well, before we have you ask Ricky a question, talk about, because you guys you make a living selling horses as well. We were just with Ricky's place where they're producing just a huge number of horses for the feedlot and for selling and stuff. Talk about what you guys are doing, because are those kid horses that they're riding, will you sell those eventually, or are you going to keep those because they're good as gold, or kind of where are you guys right now in making horses and finding homes for them?
Yeah, well, as far as the kid horses go, you know how that is when you give them to the kids. They go up by about $40,000, $50,000 pretty quick. They like them, so they're hard to sell. But we always threaten them. Well, we got to sell that one. You could make a lot of money. You could pay for college. And they're like, well, no, we're just going to go ahead and keep that one. So that's just the way it is. Yeah, I don't know that.
That's why we have 40 head of horses.
If they could all
You
be
have
like
40 head?
Yeah. Plus 40 plus.
there were hoarders. Yeah, but no, if we want them all.
And Ricky, it's a good thing that a certain Mr. Ranneman didn't watch any of these videos because does he know you have 40 head, or does your mom know you have 40
I'm
head?
sure of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear about it every day.
That's awesome.
They're great, and Mary's actually great. She raises her colts.
Yeah,
and there's not anybody better as far as feeding horses than Mary Branneman. I promise you that. I mean,
Absolutely.
So, and we all know that, but
Yeah.
no comparison on that. And we're lucky to have, it's a team effort and all of it. And it's cool to see, like, we've got all these studs that we're standing, and that's a full-time job. And Mom helps us out so much with that during the summer, especially since we live so far from town now. So, like, last summer, she drove them back and forth to the vet to get collected and everything, and ship semen on them. And
yeah,
we've had a lot of good luck with that so far, and we're happy with what the studs are producing. But we have a lot of really nice colts on the ground that we're pretty proud of, and so we're kind of changing our angle on a lot of the stuff, just because before we were not in a position to raise colts, and we were just buying a bunch of horses and riding them, and then we'd sell them eventually. But now we're hoping to more so just ride the ones we raise, which we have plenty of them now.
and here at the OW, we're going to start up a program that starting hopefully next summer if we kind of get in gear. But we're planning a horse program, buying, or having 6 or so people show up and go to work for us here at the OW, and then we'll have a horse sale next fall, about September, and have some good solid horses. Hopefully, a lot just like them kid horses we have. They kind of get used and then throw in with Reata's program and Buck's program and everybody, good horsemanship all the way around, and be able to sell some horses that way too. I mean, as far as quality.
Yeah, the big thing that we sell most of our horses on Facebook and Instagram, just through that, and we have a lot of luck with it. But the big thing is that we just don't have enough that are ready to go, because it's not like we're trading horses. We're not just going and buying horses and then flipping them to sell. We want to make sure that there are horses that we're selling, and so that requires a lot of time to put into them. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, they call and they're like, well, I need a really gentle horse. And it's like, well, you're going to have to wait a while. They're going to be really gentle, but they're just not ready yet. And that's, most people don't want to hear that. They want to hear, oh, I've got the perfect horse for you. But we want to make sure that we are matching people up with the horse that fits them too. So it's, it's a big thing here where they have a job to do, and we have the luxury of going to Sheridan and riding with my dad, and we have a lot of opportunities that way, and we're pretty lucky. And on this place, there's a lot of jobs to do. So it'll be cool to see how we can kind of develop this program and get it rolling in a direction that we can keep the educational aspect alive and thriving, as well as the actually, going out and doing a 12-hour day horseback. A lot of people don't understand that, you don't make horses just 20-minute rides a day. Every day, you might have a 20-minute ride one day and a 20-minute ride the next, and then you might have a 12-hour day. And that's what really separates really nice horses from the rest of them.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. I mean, we've spent some time talking on earlier episodes just about the difference between, trading horses and making horses, and truly making them. And Ricky's talked a lot about going from a production sale environment to the private sale, and then the Fralics are going from private sale. They're doing a sale, a production sale this year. And one of the main reasons they were talking about it was the fact that, it's hard for them to do the private sale for as far away as they are from the vet too, because it takes several hours to go out, and so there's reasons to do it. So it's exciting to hear you're taking your, not like you don't already have enough to do, But to take
Yeah.
that on and to kind of grow that, do you think you're going to have the sale at the OW, or are you going to do it down in Sheridan?
Yeah, hopefully we got to build a lot of corrals, so we need a lot of welders and that kind of thing. But yeah, no, hopefully we can have a sale here, a 20, 30 head or head sale and have quality horses. You know what I mean? As far as been there, done that type, and been used,
And Jim's
right
really
here at the OW.
Jim's excited to have kind of an event here.
Well,
that's kind of his dream, and so it's such a cool place.
It's such a cool place, and that's the problem. You're going to have everybody's going to discover it because, like, I want to go back, and I'm telling you, anybody who sees the place, it grabs a hold of you because it's just you can feel the history. I mean, there's not a lot of places you can walk into, and when you go to that barn, we just walk around the property and go, you can see what it was like in 1875 and 1878 when it was just one big territory out there. So that's exciting. And you had mentioned some of your colts you got standing, or studs you have standing. Obviously, Moving Easy Whiskey is one that everybody knows, and then your Julio horse. Talk about
Julio's not.
That's not yours. Sorry,
Julio's
I saw it was there. There's Guapo. Sorry. There's your. But talk about how many other studs do you have standing right now?
We have our highbrow cat stud. He's kind of our Easy's getting a little older, so we're not breeding as many mares, but he's still got a pretty full book. But we're kind of trying to transition over to our highbrow cat stud more. So we have about, how many brood mares do we have? 10?
Yeah.
We have 10 brood mares of our own, probably about 10, 12 maybe brood mares. And we're crossing a lot of those on the highbrow cat stud now just because he's younger and we can promote him a lot more. Easy's a little older, so he's like 22 this year, I think. 20 or 21. He's 21. So no, he's 22, coming 22. So he's kind of getting up there, but he still has a full book. So we don't really have to try hard to market him. So we're kind of trying to move over to this new stud of ours and kind of, we've got a bunch of colts on the ground that we really, really like.
And we were working in California 2 years ago in the winter, and Jack, we took Jack with us because he was the youngest and he wasn't in school yet, but he had to ride the 3-year-old stud, and he was a highbrow cat, own son of highbrow cat. So it was pretty cool. We could point him in a direction, and everybody on Instagram and Facebook seen that horse, but as gentle and as solid and turn a cow and handy. I mean, we're pretty proud of him as far as, Jack was 4 years old and riding a 3-year-old stud, and Dan 4-year-old stud, right in there. So, and away they go. You go over that ridge and gather those cows, and we'll meet you up here. And they both showed up. It wasn't just one and one. It was a pretty good deal.
All right. So before we let you go, I want you guys to ask Ricky a question. If you got a question for Ricky.
You got your question?
No.
Okay. So my question is, it's kind of for both of you guys. So having kids and wanting to have them involved in what you're doing, like as far as, with horses, cattle, livestock, all of that, how do you guys feel you have had the most success trying to get your kids involved with the things that you love to do and the things that you feel like are important as far as the livestock and all of those things go?
You go.
Oh, geez. I think for me, that answer has just been giving them time, letting them decide it's their interest, what kind of rocks their world. Keegan is not as into livestock as the other. We can already tell Colt loves it. He's just nonstop crazy about animals and horses, and he's just a year old. And then Reed is right in the middle. He's wants to be a cowboy. He has big plans. He won't wear a Scotch cap. He wears a cowboy hat because that's what you do. He's that kind of kid. So I think sort of just letting them kind of fill in where they can. Like that, very rarely do they miss milking the cow with me, but they, but that doesn't mean every day I don't have to remind them to go feed their chickens, whatever it may be. So I really do try to give them responsibility without overdoing it so it can still be fun and letting it kind of fall in. So the balance, I think, of being firm and gentle, I'm a little more on the gentle side, probably to a fault, but I'm the mom, so I guess I'm allowed to be. But I think just for me, letting them fit in what makes them tick. So Keegan is a lot like Ricky, and he'll get bored easy. He'll pick on you too much to get in trouble. He'll kind of be a lot like this guy. But immediately, as he has a responsibility over his head, he becomes 3 years older. So, he can drive I don't know if we should say this, but he can drive a four-wheeler, he can drive a pickup, he can drive a skid steer, and he's 6. Obviously within reason, but he can do those things, and as soon as he does, he is responsible. He'll push calves to water for me, and as soon as that responsibility is his, he just grows right up, and he doesn't even think about the naughty stuff that kind of haunts him otherwise. So just fitting him and finding what really rings to him would be probably how I would answer that.
Yeah. The big one for me is just really trying to take a step back and allow them to find it themselves. If one of them wants to be a computer software engineer, I'm fine with that. Whatever. I really just want them to do exactly what they want to do. I think that all 3 of them will be involved in agriculture somehow, some way. You can just see it in their eyes. How going outside and doing what we do all the time, it's just kind of hard because it's fun too. I also know that I want to be really careful because I know a lot of people, and I know you guys do too, that are in the ranching background, that when they were kids it was shoved down their throat and then they want nothing to do with it anymore. And so trying to find that balance to where it stays fun, but it stays serious. There's responsibility. Like Keegan, he's probably going to be the one managing the ranch, and his brothers will work for him. That's kind of what it looks like, recognizing the different types of minds that they have, and then just helping them take those minds and go where it's kind of like Reata, what you're talking about, Ray. He's just not necessarily a physical type athlete, but he's the best kids horse on the planet, and recognizing that in a horse and not trying to drive a square peg in a round hole. So right. I think that's what Sarah and I work really hard to do with the kids is take a step back, really watch them, see how their minds fire naturally, and then just really help to try to nurture and grow that within them. And if it's outside of agriculture, that's fine. We're going to be behind them no matter what.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Perfect.
Well, I still have money on Reed being in the movies. He's just got a certain look. I mean, he's going to be like the next Matthew McConaughey.
Reed will have his cowboy hat, his perfect little hair. He'll have like a geode hanging around his neck, a Hawaiian shirt. And it's all his choice, and he is so cool.
And his boots on the wrong feet.
Yeah.
You got to have them toes out.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
Well, and I think everybody's going to be working for Jack. I mean, that guy's going to be a leader.
Oh. Yeah.
So you're already working for him. You don't know that. So.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so to round it out, it's Christmas week. Thanks for joining us. I thought it'd be fun because Ricky's talked just about what an impact your dad has had on his life, and from 17 and just having that relationship and the fact that you're as close as family as anything, and just he's watched you grow up. So it was kind of fun to do this Christmas kind of week, get you guys on. I'd like to close just by going around real quick, and we can start with Reata and then Gabe. But what is a Christmas tradition that you remember growing up that you want to pass on to your own kids? What is there that you did that you just remember? Is there something that you would want to pass on to your own kids?
Well, I think, the one thing I really remember from growing up is we just always go sledding every day, every Christmas, as soon as we were done opening presents. And usually ended up with someone getting hurt. Because so we'd always go sled behind the four-wheeler and, across all the frozen horse turds. And usually he'd end up flipping the sled over on my sisters.
You
and
didn't
I.
know it, but he was dragging the pasture.
I know, yeah.
Knocking
And
the manure down.
Oh, yeah. We already have started that with the kids. We go up on, and Dad's gone sledding with all of us and all the kids, and he's just as bad as they are. He's worse. They're like, I don't think I want to go off.
Riata, do you have a picture of your dad's snowsuit so everybody can see it?
We're not showing that.
Bad, but he takes it seriously. He's always the one that's dry, though. We're always the one that are soaking wet, and he's dry. So I guess it works. A little embarrassing, though.
That's awesome.
You should see Gabe's snowsuit now. Jim gave Gabe this snowsuit that is it's an Israeli army snowsuit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this
nice.
thing is insane. It has a fur collar on it and everything. And Gabe wore it the other day when we were doctoring calves.
Well, Jim gave it to me, and I thought, well, all right, I'm going to wear it because I'm going to test it out, And we had to go doctor some calves over here, and hey, it's lightweight, a lot of freedom in your arms.
I wish I had a video of it. He's going after this calf, trying to neck it, and he's got this like balloon behind him of this snowsuit bubbled out behind him.
Yeah, nice.
Like, oh,
I never knew it got that cold in Israel, but that's good that they're making stuff.
Oh yeah, Jim thinks they're like the coolest thing ever, which they are pretty cool because they're the warmest thing you've ever put on in your entire life. But he ordered one for everybody on the crew, so now we're all gonna.
Yeah. And knowing Jim Guercio, he's going to market those, and he'll make a ton of money off of it, and we'll all make fun of him. But everybody's going to be wearing them in New York.
Yeah, we got the Rafter Caribou Ranch, OW. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, Gabe, what about you? What's a Christmas tradition that you loved as a kid that you went to?
We were a little different. We'd always, I don't know where it started or how it started, but we'd do Christmas like Christmas Eve. So it was all day Christmas Eve. So we'd do that and then have Christmas. And then I think it was because of my grandparents and their parties. Everybody has their parties, but we'd go to my grandparents' party on Christmas Day, and it was all the cousins, all the family, and always a basketball game, which we weren't basketball players, but we thought we were for sure. And so it ended up with somebody hurt pretty bad. I imagine, one of the kids.
Yeah, they were wrestlers. My God, I can't be good.
No, I wanted to be LeBron James,
but not Indian leg wrestlers. Brandon's got a mat.
Yeah. We'll go into wrestling next.
That's
exactly.
Good. Okay, Sarah, you're up. I want to hear about a Christmas memory that you want to pass on to your kids or you're doing now.
Gosh, I don't know. Of course, maybe in me, I guess growing up, my highlight was making something special for my ponies and going out and feeding them extra that day or breaking a bunch of carrots into a bucket for them or something. So for me, that's probably how I'd answer that. And the boys are kind of that way too. So I think that'd be one I would go for.
Feed everything extra.
Yep. Feed everything extra that day. And, yep.
That's good. Ricky, close us out.
My dad was always way behind on collecting enough firewood, so we'd usually end up go out and cut firewood on Christmas Day. It's not a lie. Usually what we would do.
So Keegan, get your ass out there, cut some wood. We're gonna enjoy
exactly. Yeah. A bit. Remember one time out on Cottonwood, they call it the slab out there outside of Worland, Wyoming. We were cutting cottonwood, which is the worst firewood on the planet, I think. But it was Christmas, and I remember seeing like 5 or 6 really big buck deer. It just snowed and everything else, and on that white backdrop with the Badlands and stuff, and it was absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, you could look at it because you're out there cutting firewood, but at the same time, you can find some good in it too. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Very good.
Well, Gabe, Reata, thanks for joining us. This has been great.
Thanks for having me.
And Sarah, I'm so glad that you're on the screen as well. This is a fun Christmas week, and this will surprise none of you. But I asked Ricky what he wanted to do for the last show of the season, which will be next week after Christmas. And Ricky said, "Well, you know, John, we've had all these great conversations. You heard from Nick Donahue about how hard he works, and you heard from Alicia, and you heard, all these different people talking about horsemanship and how it's applied to their lives. And as we go into the new year and talking about setting goals, Ricky basically said, so John, you've listened to every one of these conversations. Is any of this going to help you? And so we're actually going to talk next week. Ricky, we're going to have a one-on-one talk about how we apply everything we've taught. This is our 14th episode. So next week we're going to talk about actually how you apply what we've actually talked about and the experiences and learning from people like Gabe and Reata and Alicia, just everybody, and how we apply it to start off 2021 on the right foot and with goals in mind. Reata, we talked a lot on one of the shows about Ricky saying when you go to a clinic, actually have a plan of what you want to accomplish. Don't just show up. And we talk about people who go to clinics just because they like going to clinics, and having a plan and knowing what you want to get out of the clinic and what you're working on. And if it's your one shot to talk to a Buck Brannaman or Ricky or whoever's doing the clinic, being able to get the most out of it. And so next week we're going to be talking about going into 2021 with a plan. And I kind of anticipate Ricky being a little hard on me and pushing me a little bit. So enjoy your Christmas. I will. What, Ricky? That's kind of what you do.
You're the last person I'm going to push on, John.
Because I can't handle it. I've learned that.
Unless
that was episode 4. Episode 4 is like you got to be able to handle it. I learned it.
Unless you don't feel of those cows when you walk into that crowd, John.
Okay, I'm going to edit that part out of here. So, anyway, Reata, Gabe, thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, thank you. And Ricky and Sarah and John, all you guys come back to the OW and we'll brand some calves this spring.
Oh, man,
Absolutely.
Great. All right, guys, thank you so much. And just to let you know, for anybody, and Ricky, you probably don't even know this yet, but do you know you have an Instagram account now?
No.
Yeah, you got an Instagram account. So if you want more information on Ricky Quinn, you can go to the Facebook page or his new Instagram account. You've got 3 posts so far. Reata
Thank you, John.
Does more of those posts in like the mornings than you've done. So anyway, Ricky Quinn Clinic. See you guys. Thanks. Appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
See you guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.